Hello, you're watching Afghannews with Mohsen Jamal. German Development Minister Dirk Naibel arrived Sunday in Afghanistan, where he was to meet President Hamid Karzai and also discuss the release of a second tranche of aid. Naibel was to discuss with French Minister Omar Zaghir the circumstances in which a second tranche of German aid amounting to 110 million euros could be released. Germany is doubling its civilian assistance to up to 430 million euros per year from 2010 to 2013, becoming the largest European donor in Afghanistan. Since 2009, more than 30,000 Afghans have received vocational training to give them better income opportunities, and about 43,000 people have benefited from microcredit programs. A suicide attacker has detonated his explosives in the northern Kunduz province, killing 3 civilians and wounding 11 others, a local official said. The incident happened at 9:30 a.m. local time in Kunduz city when German forces were passing by, and a suicide bomber on a motorbike blew himself up, killing 3 civilians, wounding 11 others. Saisar Hossaini, a spokesman for the provincial police chief, said foreign forces suffered no casualties in the attack, he added. Taliban spokesman Zabihullah Mujahid took responsibility, saying one of their fighters drove a vehicle packed with 550 kilograms of explosives into the convoy and killed 12 NATO soldiers. 8 foreign soldiers died in one day in Afghanistan, officials said Sunday, including 4 in a single incident believed to have been a vehicle accident. The 4 died Saturday of non-battle related injuries in southern Afghanistan. The NATO-led International Security Assistance Force said in a statement that incident in a region containing many of Afghanistan's bloodiest battlegrounds came on a day when ISAF said 4 other foreign soldiers also died in separate insurgent attacks, with 3 in the south and 1 in the east. In line with policy, ISAF did not give further details of what happened in any of the accidents or the nationalities of the troops who died. A total of 256 international troops have now died in Afghanistan this year. Millions of Afghan refugees have become a part of the social and economic fabric of Pakistan, a representative of the UN Refugee Agency, UNHCR, said Sunday on the eve of the World Refugee Day. UNHCR Deputy Representative in Pakistan, Kilian Chemidet, said over the past 30 years, Pakistan has provided the best protection to the Afghans coming from the heavily battled neighboring country. More than 3.6 million fleeing Afghans have returned from Pakistan during the past 10 years. He said, however, there are still 1.7 million registered Afghans in the country, where itself has an internal displacement of millions due to militancy and natural disasters. He said the killing of Osama bin Laden has nothing to do with the refugee situation in Pakistan, explaining that the 3rd and 4th generation of Afghans have established their lives in Pakistan, so what they care about are education, health, jobs, livelihood and business. Libyan officials said around 7 civilians were killed in a NATO airstrike in eastern Tripoli in the early hours of Sunday morning. Reporters were taken by Libyan government officials to a residential area in the Arada district of Tripoli and saw a body pulled out of the rubble of a destroyed building. At a local hospital, reporters were shown 3 bodies, including a child, which government officials said were people who had been killed in the airstrike. Arada is a neighborhood in the South al-Juma district, which is known for anti-Gaddafi sentiment. This comes as gun battles between forces loyal to Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi and rebel fighters in the northwest city of Nalut left at least 8 rebel fighters dead and 13 more wounded. Syrian troops and gunmen loyal to President Bashar al-Assad are reported to have stormed the town of Bidama near the Turkish border. The alleged assault on Saturday followed another Friday of protests which have grown in size despite Assad's wide-ranging military campaign to crush a 3-month-old uprising. Saturday's violence centered around Bidama, which is one of the epicenters, providing food and supplies for the thousands of people who have fled their homes and have taken shelter near the Turkish border. Amid reports of Syrian troops moving into Turkish border towns, the British Foreign Commonwealth Office issued a statement urging Britons to leave Syria immediately and advising against travel to Syria. Osama al-Najai, the Iraqi parliament speaker, has said that the amount of Iraqi money unaccounted for by the United States is $18.7 billion, 3 times more than the reported $6.6 billion. Just before departing for a visit to the United States, al-Najai said that he has received a report this week based on information from U.S. and Iraqi authorities that the amount of money withdrawn from a fund from Iraqi oil proceeds but unaccounted for is much more than $6.6 billion reported missing last week. The Bush administration flew in a total of $20 billion in cash into the country in 2004. This was money that had come from Iraqi oil sales, surplus funds from the UN Oil for Food program, and seized Iraqi assets. Officials in Iraq were supposed to give out the money to Iraqi ministers and U.S. contractors intended for the reconstruction of the country. Morocco's youth-based February 20 movement has called for nationwide protests against constitutional changes proposed by King Mohammed VI. The king outlined curbs to his wide political powers in an address to the nation on Friday and pledged to build a constitutional monarchy with a democratic parliament. The proposals to be put to a referendum on July 1st devolve many of the king's powers to the prime minister and parliament. The reform proposals come in the wake of nationwide pro-reform demonstrations that started on February 20th. The leader of an Iranian opposition group has called for the United Nations to protect a camp of IS disarmed fighters in Ashraf, Iraq, after as many as 35 people were killed there in an Iraqi army attack in April during a rally attended by thousands in the French town of Bulliten on Saturday. Marjam Rajavi, the leader of the Mujahideen Khalq's political wing, said that the United Nations should send monitors to the camp in order to protect the 3,400 people living there. The camp, located north of Baghdad, was initially set up while Iraq was still ruled by former President Saddam Hussein and served as a base for the MEK in its battle against the Iranian government. The MEK has been labeled a terrorist group by the United States since 1997. The several prominent U.S. political figures present at the rally have called for their government to reverse that decision. And the thousands of protesters took to the streets of Madrid on Sunday to protest Spain's politicians and the state of the economy. Rallies began at 6 different locations in the Spanish capital and were expected to coverage in front of Congress. The rally was called by the M15 movement, which came together using social media tools like Facebook and Twitter to stage a series of protests that fanned out throughout the country ahead of local elections on March 22nd. The protest comes a week after demonstrators removed their tents from central Madrid's Puerto del Sol Square, where they had been camping in protest at the government's handling of the country's economic crisis. The 25-day encampment became a symbol worldwide of Spanish discontent. And that's all for now. Thanks for staying with us.